But the better investment, in my opinion, is frame sliders. This design is pretty genius, but it's tricky to install, so let me explain. You put the big bolt through the shaft, and there's a nut that goes on the end of it. Then you stick the shaft into the mushroom tip and screw it until it's tight. The frame slider mounts here to this point on the frame, which is awesome because you don't have to cut anything for them to fit. I never understood cutting your fairing to protect your fairing. It kind of defeats the purpose, right? Anyway, this side body piece has to come off. It's held on by two 3mm Allen bolts and a 5mm Allen where the turn signal is. And this could be a good time to swap in Rob's crazy bright LED turn signals, which you can also find on his website. Anyway, now there's this bracket you have to take off. Two more Allen bolts. The little one on the left is easy, but the right one was bigger and it might require some assistance. That hole on the right is where the frame slider goes. But Rob decided the factory bolt was too small and used this super beefy one. What this means though is the new beefy bolt won't fit in the hole, so you have to drill it out. As a disclaimer, I can't advise anyone to do this because you're basically modifying your bike irreversibly. Okay, maybe not this part because you could just buy a new bracket, but you also have to drill out this captive nut in the frame. So if you're not comfortable doing that, there's a German company that sells sliders that use the factory bolt. Alright, the installation is interesting. Put the bracket on first and line it up to make sure the new bolt fits, and then tighten down that tiny bolt on the left. In retrospect, I shouldn't have taken this bracket off at all and just drilled out the bracket and the frame hole at the same time, but no going back now. Now for the frame slider nut, it's important to orient it with the notch side in, so the bolt screws into it like this. That way it fits all the way into the frame hole and strengthens the connection. Definitely put the nut in before putting the fairing back on. Plug the turn signal back in, and then mount the frame slider shaft at the same time. It's too thick to fit through the hole, so you have to come from the outside. Try and squeeze your hand up in there somehow so you can hold the nut and then screw the bolt in. Now you can tighten down the rest of the fairing bolts and finish it off. While the frame slider bolt isn't too tight, rotate it so the holes are vertical. So when you put the cap on, the bolt can go in the bottom. This way rain doesn't fill up the hole, and people can read the Energica of New England logos.